Start.
Hello everyone, welcome to SCUBETV. My name is Rajni and today we have with us a very special guest on our show. His name is Mr. Jasonacooper and he is a coach, he's a trainer, he builds people, he builds team and let's welcome him to our show and we'll talk more about what he builds and how he builds. But before that, Mr. Jason, welcome to SCUBETV.
Thank you. Yeah, really well, really well. I'm in sunny Dublin, Ireland at the moment. And so beautiful country, beautiful place. So thank you for inviting me on here. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yes, we too are excited because, you're a coach, you're a trainer, you are a business strategist and you build people and build team. So you actually do quite a lot of things. So we'll get more into it. But before, I just want to know that how is the COVID situation at your place currently?
It's still a little bit challenging here. Nothing's straightforward. The kids have gone back to school, but you have to drop them off at the gate and then they run in. So you're not allowed to in the school grounds at all, only on pickup, but then you have to wear your masks. So transport, you still have to wear your masks on. It's not quite there. They're trying to open up the pubs, the public houses, which is a bar. They're trying to open up. The restaurants are opened, but it's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit disconcerting, really. So everyone is being told, if you're out in public, even public spaces like shopping centres, you have to wear your mask walking around. So it's not quite there yet. Let's hope that we can all move forward and get out of this challenging situation right now. But we have to start to think of what we can do to it and start to think beyond 2020 and look for 2021 and see how we can actually move forward in those positive directions and keep everything working well and keep the economy going, because like every country, it can be a little bit challenging at times. So with that in mind, let's always look forward and enjoy what we do have as opposed to what we don't have, which is really quite important and really quite a good thing to have. And probably the same as what you're living as well. Like it can be a little bit challenging, but thank you. We're all well and happy, so that's all good.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is working upon the situation. Everyone is trying to cope up with the situation, and everyone is hoping that it might just end soon, and we could get back to our normal lives without masks, without those sanitizers, because it's really challenging. The times are really challenging, but we are hoping for it to end soon. Okay, all right. So now that I've already introduced you to the audiences, as in that you're a business strategist and also you build people and build team, you're a coach, you're a trainer. So now I actually would like to know from yourself that how did you become all these things and what did you do? And
well,
please,
let me take you back. Let me take you right back. So if you can just imagine, I'm actually English. I'm not Irish. So born and raised in England, just outside of North London. Started my career working in retail, funny enough, and so I got out of retail quite quickly and got out into the corporate world. It's called the Square Mile, but the Square Mile is the financial district in London. So I started my career selling digital photocopiers into the Square Mile, this financial district, which is one of the global districts in the world. So I started my career out there, cut my career out of that, working in sort of direct sales, worked in sort of the West End, which is the west of London, and then started there. And then that wasn't really what I wanted to do, and got into the online world in 2000, where it grew phenomenally, and I started selling websites and all of that, and everyone was excited about this, that, and the other, and really good fun times. But then the bubble burst, as it did. This was the dot-com crash and boom and bust, and so I learned a lot by that. And then I started working in ambient advertising, selling advertising on screens. Then I had a team of people working with me, which brought me forward to Ireland. Living in Ireland, I met an Irish lady, so I moved over to here, and then I've worked in several sort of corporates and a phenomenal amount of startups. So I've worked in a lot of venture capital companies that invested a lot of money into startups, and I've also co-founded a couple of startups as well, which gave me the ideas and sort of the indications about, hang on a minute, I've got a lot of knowledge here along the way of getting my hands dirty with a startup. I've been to San Francisco a few times, Silicon Valley, on venture capital to talk with about 200 VCs to get funding in. So I've learned a lot in those sort of process and how to enable collaboration and working with the right people. So which gave me a lot of knowledge and a lot of insights. And along the way, I've learned a lot. So I went back to study after many years, which is pretty tough going. Once you've forgotten how to write a paragraph, after many years, you have to really start to do your dissertations and understand how to do these processes actually written down. So went back to that. Now I studied a lot of neurolinguistic program, which is the study of the brain, the study of the mind, how to communicate more effectively with people and understanding what is right and what is wrong and what goes on in the internal dialogue within the brain. Then I went on several other courses to understand neuroscience and also studied hypnosis really. And the reason why I studied hypnosis is really more for the language and the language patterns, not to put people under sort of in around and walking like a chicken or whatever. No, but it's really more to do with helping people to understand how communication can affect people in the right way, and it's also got to be done in the positive way. So the more positive that you can get, the better the intention and the integrity that you have inside. So I've learned a lot of that, and I learned how to be a coach and a business coach, a trainer, a sales trainer, a business coach, and all around sort of 360, because you have to understand how people work and how people operate, but you also have to understand what goes inside people's minds. To a certain degree, you can't understand everything, but as long as you have an understanding how the brain works and how the three-layer brain works and how your sort of fight or flight system works, how your emotional brain and how your rational brain works as well, so you can actually work with people in the right way. So that gives you a little bit of synopsis of me. There's a lot more there. Hopefully you'll drill out of me.
No, of course. You had quite a journey because from someplace else to then here, then becoming a coach and business strategist and all these things. I mean, you have had quite a journey, and also you love. When I actually heard your journey, when you were talking about yourself, so when you told that you love to know how the mind works and all that thing. So I think because of that part, because of the thing that you love about mind. So is that the reason you became a coach and a trainer?
Yes and no, really. It was really to be curious about things and people. So the more curious you are, the more you start to learn. And I just thought there's a lot more to give back and a lot more to sort of understand and help people get to what they want. And that's the thing behind it. Like when I first started out, I never thought I'd be a coach and trainer. I just thought I'd get back into another career or whatever it might be, working in one of the big corporates here in Ireland, which is Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and all of those people that have their sort of European hubs here in Ireland. But it just turns out, even in COVID, it really started to really focus in, and it's been quite a phenomenal journey because there's a lot more people out there right now that need help, that need their business, they need advice, guidance, but they also need there's a lot of stress going around, as we know, a lot of anxiety going around, but there's also people get lost in their own thoughts. So if you can help them with their thoughts and with their internal language, but also then you can base it on what's going on in their personal and professional lives, and you can just get a bit of a crossover between the two of them. So the more you can do that, then the better that you can find the need, and then the better that you can push forward with them to find out how we can work out through their challenges that they actually have right now and move forward with all the other areas within their business and sales and whatever else there might be in there that we uncover over several conversations.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. But now I also would like to know that why did you choose of becoming? I mean, you have had this journey where you also did jobs and all, but then why did you suddenly choose to become all these things? What were you trying to help people? Do you wanted to help people for that, or you just wanted to do a bit unconventional thing? Because when you do jobs and all that, so you have a particular lifestyle, you have all a proper lifestyle, and you wake up and you go to your work and all that thing. But this is a bit challenging also, and also interesting, and also a bit unconventional. So
Mhm.
I would like to know, so why did you choose this?
Well, basically, you have to find out your own path in life, and you have to find out what works for you. But also, you have to step yourself apart from what everyone else is doing, because
Yeah,
everyone else is doing the same sort of process and this, that, and the other, whatever. So I had to really think about what is good for me, works for me, sits comfortable with me, and all the stuff that I have learned over the many years of doing what I've done is to go, well, I can use that, I can utilize that, I can understand that process, I can understand that process, and I have a good grasp for it as well. So having a good grasp, but you have to practice it as well. You have to really practice how you can actually help people in a really good positive way. So whether it is sales workshops, and I've done quite a number of sales workshops, but it's to really understand the communication process, but it's also to understand what's going on, having to actually intensely listen to what people are actually saying. And the more you start to listen to people that you, and the more you know, and the more you know, the more you learn from them. And then you ask them some really good questions. So that's what I teach people to do, is to listen, understand, and ask questions about their business, about themselves, but also to put yourself in their shoes to really understand what's going on holistically in the mind of the other person. It's like
yeah,
when you talk to your kids or you talk to someone else, so just really understand that process between the two and the direct correlation between the two. So sales people and sales professionals and business professionals, people that speak like we're speaking
yeah,
now, is to really sort of focus in and really understand and give it your all, but then understand the process afterwards and how you can enable them through a organic process, whatever that might be. Is sales skills, sales listening skills, understanding the body language, and then understanding the right ways to approach it and close it, but also build up some really wonderful stories that resonate with the other person, rather than doing this old-fashioned way of featured advantage benefit, which is really old-fashioned, it's 1980s approach. But if you can create a really good metaphor and a good analogy and inoculation about their their business or whatever that resonates with them, and the more quickly that you can resonate with the other person, the more likelihood they will buy something off you, or and the relationship builds in the right organic way, so you can all move forward in a really good authentic way, because it's all about being authentic, it's all about being trustworthy, it's all about being yourself.
okay, okay, great. So you're saying that to become a coach or a trainer, so you need to be a good listener. You actually need to resonate with people, you need to connect with people, because when you are training someone, so you really need to connect with them. Only then they can ask you questions, and only then they can have that trust in you to make you their trainer or their coach. So okay, so now I would like to know how important is sales in your life, in your daily life?
How important is sales in my daily life?
Yeah.
um
Mhm.
Let me reframe that, because we all sell.
Yeah.
You sell, I sell. An accountant, a solicitor, someone in financial services, someone that is in another area of the business, we all sell. We all sell to each other on a daily basis. I sell to my wife because I want to go out, or we want to do this, that, and the other. She sells to me and gets me, persuades me, and influences me to do something. But I think everyone in business are a salesperson, whether they think it or not. We all are salespeople. We're all selling something, whatever that might look and feel like. In a business context, the biggest thing that you need to do is, okay, you've got a great idea, wonderful idea, and you're doing something or other, but then you need to sell that service, that product, that thing to someone else so they can buy it, or they buy into it, or they like the idea, or you can serve people. So let's reframe the word sales to serving others in a more effective way, because the more you can serve people, then that little word of sales goes out the way, because you're serving someone else and you're applying the right things and the right sort of terminology so you can understand the person in a better way. So the way I see it is we're all salespeople. You're salesperson, and you're persuading me to give me an answer. So I'm giving you a right
Yeah.
answer here. So yeah, you're persuading and influencing me in a good way, which is wonderful. So I think we're all doing it, and I think it's quite effective that we are doing it. But it's got to be done in sort of a trustworthy, organic way that the other person resonates, and it resonates with the other person, and everything's done, and all the things that we do on a daily basis is a feeling. So the more you feel into it, the more you like it. The more you like it, the more you're going to buy it. The more you, and it goes on and on and on. But when you have a look into something that you've admired for ages, or you look into a a women's clothing shop, or you go past the retail store and you see something that you like, and you get a feeling, or you see it online, and you get that sort of gut feeling. I really like that color, or
Yeah.
whatever it might. And I can see you're smiling because you do it yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I am actually. I'm also imagining. Okay, so I went to the store some time back, and I actually like. So I'm actually able to resonate with the thing that you're saying right here. Okay, great. So I actually never had the idea of sales like that. I mean, I never thought of sales like that. That it is very true that we actually every day in everyday life we are trying to sell something or the other, either with our parents, our family, our husband, wives, or whoever. But
Mhm.
yeah, okay. So it's a great way to look at it. I mean, and it is actually now it seems very, very important, not just to you, but to everyone else too. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I actually also would like to know that what exactly does a business coach do?
Okay, so a business coach will find out. First off, if I was working, when I'm working with someone, is to find out about them, find out what they do, find out all the areas that they work in within their business.
Yeah.
Um, what they, again, that feeling, that and the excitement that they have when they go into work, and that almost like they go into the workplace and it's in the flow state, and the flow state basically means you start at 9 or whatever and you finish at 5, but it's just flown by, and you don't realize how much personally involved you actually are within it. So we'll find out a little bit more about the business and what they do on a day-to-day basis, and then we'll have a look at the challenges that they have and the challenges that they might face, and having a look at maybe even how they started the business, what made them start on the business and their business journey, and maybe their history as well, and who else is involved within the business. And then another wonderful piece of advice that was given to me, which I'm going to take, is if there's a bigger and they're a bigger business, it's to speak to all of the other people that are involved in the business, meaning anyone from the receptionist, anyone from the salesperson or the accountants or whatever. So we find their point of view about the business and what they think of it, and then we have a really good sort of 360 view of what's going on, and then the key stakeholders and what their path is and what they say about the business. So there's lots of different areas that you can look at and explore depending on the remit and what they actually want. So you've got to start with A and end up and you got to keep stepping up the ladder and get them making sure that whatever we do, they have to have buy-in from what I say, and also vice versa. I've got to really that listening thing again is to really intensely listen to what
Okay.
they're communicating, but also what they're communicating back to me. But so we can always move forward in a good structured way. But there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, so I have to be accountable for their needs, and I work for them, and I have to remember that because I work for them. So whatever I do, I'm working for them they're my employees, so I have to make sure. But I also have to make sure whatever we do is to make them accountable and make sure that there's a target and there's a process in there for them, for stuff that they need to do, and then we'll move forward. So there's lots and lots of things. It's opening up a sort of a magic box, and there's lots and lots of things in there. You just look at it. There's lots of things, but you have to sort of chunk it down into sort of small, sizable chunks that they can understand and make it simple. Because you forget the acronyms and forget this, that, and the other. Just make it all very simple for them to understand. There is an approach here. There is a way forward for them to move forward. Sometimes it's more of a sounding card. They need someone just to ask questions. Say, what about this? And go, what do you think about that? Okay, well, we can do a mind map on this. So mind map was explore the idea and explore it a little bit further. So we can sort of look at all different areas of what we're describing in the situation, and we can explore other areas to make it in the confines of the description of what the initial challenge might be. But then we move forward, and then we trump that challenge, but then we look at other areas and the other areas and the others, depending on what it might be. So it's a collective way of looking at their business, and we'll look at sales, we'll look at this, that, and the other. So it's all fundamental for them to move forward.
Okay. But now, here I would also like to know that when you're a business coach to someone, so they actually, so the person who's doing the business, he actually is trusting you with his ideas, with his strategies, and all those things. So when they actually tell you their secrets or the business secrets that that they work upon, so when so it might also happen sometime that the strategies or the coaching that you do, so it might not work for some people, for some business people. So when it fails, or when some ideas don't work as it is supposed to, so do you find it challenging, and what happens in that area? I mean, yeah.
I understand what you mean. So it's like, not everything works, and there is no magic pill out there to say that that's going to work, because you don't know. But the way to look at it, if you don't try it, or if you don't do it, how do you know? So we have to have this sort of open area of trust. And the way that I pitch it first time, it says we can either do an NDA. An NDA is an undisclosed agreement. So whatever we do say stays in the confines of this conversation. And whatever we do within this, we'll explore different things. And the more you can explore other areas, like businesses, especially in this climate as we're seeing right now, if you don't explore that idea, you don't know that that's going to work. If you don't explore that idea, you don't know. You might find that the golden goose that will lay the right golden eggs for you, that can actually really accelerate your business up into the next hemisphere. But you don't know until you try it or do it. I'd say try, but the more that you focus in on doing it, then the more that you discover other things. But what you have to do is, there's no such thing as failure, but only feedback, and feedback to move forward. So the more you can go, okay, why didn't that work? What was the premise behind that challenging area that didn't quite work? Okay, we had a little bit budget behind there, but we tested it. Okay, so that's good. We did test that, and that's right. Okay, so what other learnings have we got out of that? So have the descriptions of learnings, but then you have to use those learnings and share that among the group of people that you're the key stakeholders, so that everyone understands that. But there might be other things that other people, I don't have all the ideas, but you have all the ideas. The other people have all the ideas, and let's explore it as a sort of a network of people. And then I will just be their guide along the way, and like we explore different things. So hopefully that answered a lot of your sort of your questions there. And it is an open ball, but it can be quite challenging at times. But you have to rise up to that challenge and take it on. And again, I work for them, so whatever I do, I'm accountable equally as they are. But it's got to be a sort of a holistic point of view, that we all work together and we all fight and move on forward, so everything works in the right way.
Okay, all right. And so also the trust needs to be there, whether you fail or whether you don't, whether it is a successful project or a business or whatever that is, but you need to have that trust. So
Yeah.
whatever might happen. So okay, all right. So also there are a number of coaches, in the area. So how do a business person and how do we actually find the right coach for our business? Is there a technique or is there a thing? How do we do it?
I don't think there's any technique. It's lots of different ways you can find out about a person through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my number one tool. Your website, which is like a lead magnet nowadays. Anyway, it's a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and find out more videos and podcasts that you do and whatever else. They can engage with you. The way I look at it is if I don't like them or they don't like me, then pass it on to someone else that they can work with as opposed to work with me, because you don't know, like I might not fit everyone's bucket, I might not fit everyone's way to work with. So if that doesn't work, it's sometimes best to bail out to save your credibility and to save the way that you work. And like again, it's that area of trust. And if I get that gut feeling or they get that gut feeling it's not going to work, then it's not going to work. So let's pass it on to someone else that I do know. And I find that's the best way of collaboration moving forward, to work with people and give that job to someone else that can work, as much as you don't want to lose that business or whatever. But in terms of long-term relationship building, long-term collaboration, long-term strategy, sometimes that is the best way of doing it, as much as you don't want to do it, but it's the best way to move forward, I find anyway. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, of course it did. Okay. So now, so there are a number of business in the market. So the business people or the owners or whoever, whatever we call them, so that they all of them work hard in the same manner, but some businesses do great job, but some actually doesn't make it to that success. So what do you think is lacking there, and what is the major problem there? I mean, some businesses are very successful, and even though they work hard on the same level, so what would you say is lacking in that space?
Okay. First thing is, when you do start in a startup or a tech startup, it's all really fun and exciting. And everyone's like buzzing because they want to make sure it works. But there comes a
Yeah.
time, from my experience of working with several startups, is you need a mentor, you need a coach or a coach to help the co-founders work on themselves, because they haven't got these skills. They haven't got the skills of leadership. They think they have, but leadership goes a little bit beyond that. They might not have the skills of accelerating to the next level and scaling up. They might not have these skills. So speak to a coach, a mentor, go to VC talks, venture capital talks, find the right person for you that might be able to help you and accelerate your business to move on to the next level or to scale up. We've seen a lot of businesses out there, and the co-founders keep going through it, and they don't really educate themselves on the latest processes. They don't educate themselves on how can I scale up to the next level. What does a leader mean? What does the leadership actually mean? That I can build more trust, the more people that I employ, because then there's a strategy in there. Then I need an HR function. Then I need an accountant. Then I need a solicitor so I can get more premises. Then I need technology around me. Then I need an easier process and connected collaborative apps or facilities or whatever it might be, so I can grow and scale in the right way. But if the one thing is, if they have that ego
Okay.
there, they're not going to grow. They all they can do is sabotage themselves, and like we've all done it. I've sabotaged myself on many occasions. I've failed on loads of occasions, but then what I have to do is learn from that, and that's done by getting the few scars along the way of whatever the challenges along the way, but really understanding what actually had to happen along that. And that's why I went on my business journey, is to sort of learn something new, learn something else, and keep reading, keep reading, do online courses, do seminars, go to online workshops, or physical workshops outside of COVID, should I say, and learn and connect and build relationships with the right people out there that will help you grow, but not put you down, but will give you practical advice that will make sure that you lift in the right way, and get your own mastermind group as well. So that's really quite important thing to do, is get a mastermind group that you can share ideas. It's in a sort of a good trustworthy network of people at the same level. And you know, when I worked in Dublin Business Innovation Clinic, there's lots of trusted networks, so you can align with the right people that you can share the best practices, best ideas, so you can all sort of grow and find out what the challenging situations are and get it from someone else's point of view that is not inside of your business. So I think that's the main point.
Okay. Also, so now, what is the major quality, I would say? What is the major quality that one needs to have for a successful business? What is that one thing, because some people, even though a lot of people wants to do startups and business, but somewhere someone don't want to take risk, and there are many points that someone wants to do, but for their business, and someone doesn't want to do. So what would you say is the major quality to be a successful business person?
Okay, so imagine this for a second. You're speaking to me. You've got a lot of passion, and you're a lot of enthusiastic, and you're very good at the way you're explaining things. So just imagine this for you. So the number one key thing, it's no secret, is you need passion. You can't have passion without anything else if you're not invested into it. So imagine that you work with a company, or you worked for a company that you went, not really enjoying what I'm doing.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So the more that you're invested into it, the more that you like it, the more that you love it, and the more that you love it, the more that you want to spend more time doing it, and the more that you want to spend more time doing it, the more that you're going to see a really good light at the end of the tunnel. So the more that you can do that, I think passion is not the number one thing to really look at. And like, I've been interviewing lots of global leaders and leaderships at the moment, and they all say the same thing. It's all down to the same thing. If you're passionate about what you do, then you follow your dreams, and then you install whatever processes that you have and align yourself with what we've said and what we've already discussed within this podcast already. But so I would imagine right now that you're extremely passionate, and I can see it in your face, about interviewing people like me on a day-to-day basis, because you learn loads. And then the more you learn loads, then the more you want to interview other people. So you fuel that inside of yourself, and it really is quite helpful for you and for anyone else that is listening. Is that the number one thing, to get a big highlighter, and then go passion, and then design a vision board, then design something else, or whatever it might be, to ignite that within you or within other people. So the more you can ignite that, if you have other partners that you want to be working with, you have to make sure that they're all aligned to the same dream, the same passion that you have, and install it further and build that onto a habit.
Okay. So passion is the utmost thing one needs to have, not just to become a successful businessman, but in every other field, you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. If you imagine an athlete, top of their field, they have that passion, they have that something inside them that they want to get up every day, and they want to train hard. They want to make sure that they can go out and do their best at any event, whether it's rugby, football, or soccer, or cricket, or whatever it might be. They love it, and they love what they do on a day-to-day. You could probably see the English cricket team are hugely passionate about. I know the Indian cricket team are equally as passionate about what they do. Yeah, exactly the same thing. So there's a huge thing about that. I don't really follow that much of cricket, but has that same thing, and that drive and that fuel and they're excited about training, and they're excited about the matches, and they want to win, they want to do well. It's the same in business, the same thing. You can use the same metaphor as sport as well as in business, because there's a direct correlation between the two of them.
Okay, okay, I get it. I get your point now. Okay, all right. So now moving on to the other question. So now that you are intelligent business coach and strategist, and you have actually helped a lot of business to to be successful. So, but have you ever thought of owning your own business or having your own business and working upon it? Have you ever thought of that area?
Yeah, running in like I've started, co-founded a couple of businesses. I've been involved with other businesses as well, and in their sort of infancy of startup. It's coming up with the right idea. Like I'm doing what I'm doing on myself at the moment. I have been doing that for the last God knows 3.5 years or so. But I'm now thinking of different ideas to sort of, obviously COVID is you have to do online workshops, then you have to do online coaching, and then you have to do other things like that, which is
Yep.
wonderful. But then you have to start to think about that there must be something else that I can do as well. So it's all about exploring different ideas. That I have another idea that I want to explore. It's probably not going to be this year, but I've got the seed planted, and hopefully it will start to grow. But then it's working with other people that can help you see what you want to see, but also have a bit of joined up thinking, so we share the best way forward. So yeah, I've been doing what I've been doing over the last 3.5 years. It is my me, myself, and I. But the looking forward is a more collaboration. And I worked with your guest that is on tomorrow, Simon Hay, and you'll be interviewing him. We collaborate together on several workshops, business workshops. We also work on sales training workshops. I work on my own stuff, and he works on his stuff, and do podcasts and whatever else. So there is the next step up, which I want to approach, which is hopefully coming fairly soon.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so the answer is yes.
Okay, I wish you all the best for that. I mean, you seem to have great knowledge in the business area and all that, and you have also done all your researches and everything. And if you have planned something for 3.5 years,
Mhm.
so I'm hoping that it's going to be successful. So I wish you all the best for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. So now, okay, so we also see many small businesses being successful to the next level, but I'm talking about the small businesses. They become successful to the next level, but then after reaching the next level point, they don't really go beyond that.
Mhm.
So, what do you think is lacking for them?
Well, again, I think it's the same. It's the same answer. It's lacking understanding. It's lacking understanding of what needs to happen for the next level, and really reaching out to people. It's quite wonderful. The more you reach out to people, and even ask people on LinkedIn, or you connect with someone on LinkedIn or whatever, or you go to a networking community or whatever, as long as you feel comfortable in asking people questions, I think that's the way of moving forward. If you're stuck in a situation and you're not growing and your business is not growing, then you need to ask questions. And if you're afraid to do that, then I don't think you should be in the situation that you're in, because you've got to be curious. You've got to understand that there must be another way of doing it, and to understand that there must be a better way of doing it. And the more you can understand that, then again, your business will be able to move forward. Well, let's hope. But sometimes things don't work. The situation that you need to ask is it right? Will it work? Or am I wasting my time? Is my time better spent elsewhere? And like, if your business is not working, it's not succeeding or whatever, there might be a reason behind that. So take a step back and go, well, okay, the product, the service, or whatever I'm offering just isn't right now. Like, again, opening up a retail outlet in COVID might not be the right thing to do, but you might want to pivot and put it online as an example. So you have to start to really think about what the product and service actually is, and is it right now, or could it work in a couple of years' time?
Okay. So also, okay, so you're trying to say that you also need to look for the right time to 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 actually implement your idea. If you're thinking of an idea, so you need to look for the right time.
Yeah, I think it's timing, but sometimes people flog I'm using the metaphor here, flog a dead horse. So what it means is you're so passionate about what you're doing, which is great and wonderful, but then if it's not working, there's got to be a reason behind that for it's not to work. So you have to start to go, well, hang on a minute, let's have a look back at it. But the problem is sometimes, and the challenge that there might be is you're so invested in it. And I'll give you a story here very quickly. A friend of mine was running invested a lot of money and time in this sort of virtual marketplace, and a huge amount of money, and he kept doing it, and everyone kept saying, you need to stop it, it's not working, you're not getting the revenue in, you've been doing the last 3 years and it just hasn't. You've wasted a whole lot of money. So you need to start to listen to what people are actually saying to you, get some advice, get this, that, and the other. But the challenge is, again, you're so invested into it that you don't see the wood from the trees, meaning you're blinkered. You really can't see anything going further. So sometimes you just have to go, look, enough is enough. I haven't. The problem is you in your head, you're thinking that there's a lot of money invested into something like this, and you think of one day someone is gonna invest in it, and I'm gonna be lying on a beach and wherever and living the life and whatever else. But in reality, you have to take a stop. But it does depend on the situation.
Okay. So you're suggesting here to be more flexible with the situation rather than being rigid with your ideas and with your okay. I get it. Okay. So now also some business leaders will take the business to some level and drop the ball after a few years. So why is that happening, and what can they avoid for those situations?
So dropping the ball. That's a good idea. Yeah, I think we probably discussed some of that. Again, it's down to the leader, down to the leadership. It's down to how they communicate to people in good situations or bad, how they can enhance the motivation of others to be invested into what they do. So dropping the ball, you don't know what's going on inside people's heads. That's the biggest challenge. So you have to err on a way of sort of understanding people, not micromanage people, but give them the freedom. If they're smart and you employ people to do the job that they are being given, give them the tools that will make it work. Give them the collaboration, give them the trust, give them the need, give them something that they will work with you on the journey that you were all paid for. It's one of these things. Or go on a course, go and learn something, or explore ideas with your team. So it's an open question, really, but there's lots more that you can add in that. But we haven't got time to explore the whole sort of complete stratosphere of those situations. Could be anything.
Okay. So now in this situation right now, in this COVID situation, so a lot of businesses have suffered quite a lot, and especially the startups. The economy has dropped down. A lot of things has happened. So what would you actually suggest to those startup people or those business people? What do they need to work upon in this COVID situation and after it gets over?
Okay, so let's have a look back over the dot-com bubble burst. Startups came out of that, and Facebook came out of that. LinkedIn came out of that. Lots of really big companies came out of the best time to do a startup is now. The best time is in the financial crash in the 90s. Lots of really wonderful companies came out of that, because what you are doing, you're pivoting, you're reimagining a different process to save people time. You're reimagining a way that you can go, well, that's a great idea. Why don't we look at that? Because the constraints around us, which again in music, that also brings out a big, great, wonderful, expressive music styles. And in startups, it's the same thing. We heard in 2009, 2008, where the whole world crashed on the financial markets. But then out of that, lots of wonderful applications came out that cryptocurrency came out of that, Bitcoin currency out of that. Then different processes came out of that. So, there's always there's a reason not to do stuff, but there's also a reason to do stuff because of the situation. And now we're coming out of this reemergence and reimagining how we can actually process now from what we did before. So again, the example is because shops and retail are confined now. So what actually has happened over here, and I'm sure it's happened over there, is delivery applications are being done now, or from your local supermarkets, not the big chain supermarkets. So there's apps for that now. And then there is you go to a restaurant and all that, so you're not allowed to touch the menus or all that. There's a QR code, so you do the QR code and it builds up the menu on your phone, so you're not actually touching anything. So there's a lot of reasons to do something a little bit different, but you have to sort of reimagine and especially now. So startups, and it's a great, wonderful time, and it always has been, to reinvest and reimagine what you can possibly do if you have the idea and you have the know-how, and just to push it on. But obviously funds and all that. But in Ireland there are funds available to actually invest in a website, or invest in sort of get some app developers from wherever, using Upwork and using other applications like that from around the world. So you just get people to actually do that remotely, as opposed to being in your team. So you just get those people to help you and advise you. So again, wonderful times.
Okay, all right. So are you saying that after the COVID situation will get over, after this COVID thing will get over, so when all of a sudden, when everything went online, when everything went virtually on a virtual world, so are you saying that, or are you believing in this thing that after this COVID will be over, so things might move differently and things might become different?
Yeah, well, things have become different now, because I wouldn't be talking to you now if COVID hadn't happened. I would have liked to talk to you if COVID did happen. So either way, thanks for reaching out. But other things like the online virtual world, the online learning world has just accelerated. As we know, Zoom has accelerated. Cloud functionalities, and Citrix Online, Microsoft, and all those companies have sort of taken on board that we have to upskill, and then the broadband services have to up their bandwidth to make sure that this is clear and clarity. But then there's other things in between that. There's lots, if you're technically minded, there's lots of other things in here. But then online coaching sessions, and then you have your learning platforms, and then there's lots and lots of things out there that you can actually do. So like, it is a challenging time. I'm not saying I'm not looking at the world through rose-colored lenses, but there's opportunities now to do it. We know that the world is going to go into some sort of turnaround, turn down, but then, as we know, based on history and historics, this is sort of the fourth recession I've been through, third or fourth, that things will turn around. But you just have to be smart with your money. You have to be smart in lots of different areas. So nothing's perfect, but it's time to sort of get excited and move on forward.
Okay. So while you are saying all those things, it actually is inspiring me also, and I'm so yeah, great points. So now one last question. So how do we need to motivate our sales team for their best work?
How do we motivate? So get people, again, it's that trust level, and to build on that trust level, and make sure there's incremental things to reward them. I don't mean money. Money's a great, wonderful things, but look at what would motivate you. What gives you that passion? What would you like? Would you like just a thank you note? If you've done a wonderful job right now, and you have, if I gave you an email afterwards saying, thank you so much, that was wonderful, that was really good, and then press send, what you've done is you have that feeling inside where you feel quite good. So like financial stuff is good. You're in sales because you want to make money and this, that, and the other. Okay, wonderful. But let's go a little bit deeper and understand each different person of what motivates them to do stuff. What you might be motivated to save money for a wedding, so that's motivating you. So if I was the leader in the organization, I would say, well, have you looked at this website, or give you a reward based around something that might help you and inspire you to move forward. But also it's reciprocal back to the leader. So make sure that there's I'd say the circle of trust, the element of trust that go rapport levels. Everyone's motivated towards the same goal, and there's communication backwards and forwards between everyone, because you might have an emotional levels. I know Salesforce has been speaking to someone on Salesforce, but they've given people, like, if you're not feeling right, you're not feeling up to it, take half a day off. Or if your kids need to go to school or you need to drop them off, fine. As long as you do your work, that's fine. You start at 10 and finish at 4, but as long as you do between the hours of 10 and 4, you do your work. Or I don't know, there's a lot of anxiety here at the moment, as we all understand that. So understanding the salesperson that something's not working, that something's not, take the day off, or do something to get yourself back on track, or go do these wonderful wellness courses, or do something like that to make you feel empowered, but also make sure that you're invested in. People like to be invested in. So which basically means that for yourself, that you're given a course that will enable you to do something better, communication skills, your sales skills, or your leadership skills, or whatever it might be within the organization that you work for. So that would be my honest, practical advice back, making sure that the leaders are looking in the mirror and understanding what's going on with the other person, or the persons, or the team, or the team dynamics, and reward them with a pizza, or whatever you might want to do at the end of the week, and say thank you. I think thank you is the biggest thing that you can ever say to anyone.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, okay. Thank you so much for your lovely ideas and all the knowledge that you had, for sharing it with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Jasonacooper, for coming to the show. Okay, so before going, a message to the audiences, whoever is watching or whoever will watch later.
A message is: find your own passion, find your own mission in life, assist other people to make them work in the right sort of way. So say thank you. So the biggest thing you can do is say thank you, find your passion, find your need, find your purpose, and smile.
Yeah, smile, of course, you know, and also in these challenging times, whether you may like it or not, but you have to smile. That's how you get over it. Okay, thank you so much for coming to the show, and thank you so much for coming to SCUBE TV and talking with us, sharing your knowledge with us. It was lovely having you on our channel. So yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching SCUBE TV. Well, we will meet you very, very soon. Until then, stay tuned. Okay. I think the show is over. Thank you so much, Mr. Jason. It was lovely having you.
Have a great day.
I mean, it went for more than 40. I think it went for about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. About. I tend to talk when I when I want to. So
it was lovely, but it was quite informative and quite knowledgeable. Thank you so much.
Any feed forward for me that I can improve on?
No, I mean, you were amazing. You were too good. So yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you're welcome. I always ask for feedback, because the only way that we can improve on.
Okay, so now that you have asked, I actually would also like to know the feedback from your side for me.
Okay. The advice is to have the questions sort of above the computer or to the side of the computer, and probably not on your phone. Maybe have your this is what I've learnt over the while doing it. Raise your computer up, put it on a box. I would put it on something like that. Raise it up so it's looking down at you a little bit. And I would use the questions as a guide, but I would use from what they just said, and almost what's the right word? And you did that. You did that in lots of good ways, but make sure that the questions are there to guide you, but make up questions as you go along based on what you've just heard, and make it really nice and organic, like a conversation. So imagine you're going to a cafe or restaurant or something like that, and you're meeting your best friend in that restaurant. You're having that conversation with them, but what you do then is you create a. Oh, you went there. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, well, that's incredible. What
Okay,
else
so
did you do there?
okay, so you're saying of being spontaneous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's what I've learned to do, and that's the best advice that was given to me is be a bit. Make sure that the conversation is on track. There's a start, middle, and end, but make sure that there's also an organic approach to it as well. So make sure that when you are talking to someone, that you almost you listen to what they've heard, and then you feed it back into a different way. So what I mean by that is you just say a question. I answered a question. So, oh, so what you mean by that, Jason, is you help and pivot companies like that and like this to engage further. So what else could you do in that area? Do you know what I mean?
I get you.
So,
Okay.
But I would suggest is to say, this is feed forward. This is to make you better at what you do. So is I wouldn't suggest there's another question coming up. Maybe just say, have you ever thought about your business other than coaching or consulting? Have you ever thought about other areas that you can sort of branch out or pivot within that, or just make the questions quite defined? But listen to what they just said, say it back to them, but paraphrase back to them.
Okay.
And then the best thing that I ever learnt when I've done it is to practice recording yourself and videoing yourself and asking questions and asking questions. So it comes into the unconscious. So you know, if you have a look around here, I've got all of my notes and questions around here, and even the questions that you sent me is over here. So I'm just looking at them. I had a quick go of answering them myself before we went on. So I thought, okay, I've got that. So that's what I would suggest to do, just to make yourself to the next level and then to the next level. But it's all about, I think it's all about having a conversation.
Yeah, of course. I have got all the feedback that you have given to me, and I'm definitely going to work upon that. And thank you so much for the feedback, and thank you so much for the interview. It was lovely having you. So
Thank
I'm
you
definitely going
as
to work
well.
upon that.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing more. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.